Well, hey, good morning, everybody. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast. We discuss news and politics, and we're live on YouTube and Twitch. You can find me by searching for Likely Alien. That'd be the username. And speaking of justice, off rip, let's just get it out there. Hey, in the past, I'm not even saying like it's good. Tucker Carlson got arrested, got detained by Israel at an airport. Um, anyway, what'd you have for dinner? And then former Prince Andrew arrested in his connection with the Epstein files. I think it's fucking crazy that nothing happened. Nothing has happened to Donald Trump. But man, excuse me, the things seem to be happening to everyone around him and everybody that's been affiliated is. I mean, think about Ghislaine Maxwell's in prison. Jeffrey Epstein's dead. Prince Andrew lost his fucking title and just got arrested. I mean, think about the people that are like central in the sort of like power ranking, the power rankings of the pedophile uh, crew. Yeah, and I obviously like coming from a law enforcement background, not me personally. I could just take myself out of it and just say, look, my family growing up, my mom and dad, closest to my mom's brother, Frank, who was a chief of police. Okay, so the people that we spent the most time with, like outside of holidays, even in my childhood, were my aunt Joni and Uncle Frank, who lived in Rising Sun, Indiana. Okay, and he was up at 4 a.m., coffee in hand, out the door in a squad car for a long time. Okay, you can kind of smell police work, investigation, uh, slow moving shit. People that have amassed wealth in this system have managed to avert accountability for a long time. And the thing about it is that it's coming back around. The scales of justice are starting to balance themselves out. Donald Trump will be dead. Donald Trump will be dead before he'll ever like personally take any sort of accountability for anything that he's done. So no, if you had to ask me, would it surprise you if they ate people? No. I said before, the accusations of cannibalism are going to rear their head. So it's only going to get worse. Yeah. Every morning we start the show, we listen to War by Edwin Starr. As a reminder that we're still not at war. We're not cheerleading war. And the problem that I have is that I believe in two truths, right? I don't believe there's justifiable war. And also, in the same breath, if there ever was justifiable conflict, it's in Iran when they're having great enough wealth inequality that they're mass protesting and the government kills thousands of people. Do not want the U.S. involved in conflict, and also most justifiable conflict in fucking history. Take his god, shooting between the eyeballs. What are we talking about? This is a no-brainer, right? And do you see why? Because we're too coward to actually go do it now. Oh fuck. That's a problem with getting somebody in there that isn't. He don't like people. He don't like service members. Yeah, I just made a video and said, "Hey, Tucker Carlson got arrested by Israel. What'd you have for dinner?" And also, uh, Prince Andrew, former Prince Andrew, got arrested last night. That's so weird. It's almost like accountability. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I keep seeing it posted over and over and again in the last like 2 days that there is damning enough evidence in the Epstein files coming out that Donald Trump will fucking resign. You heard me. Hey, give it to us. That's what I'm saying. Like people keep saying, like, "Oh, you gonna fucking do it? Put it out there." Like if you got something on old Donny Boy that you think will make him fucking quit his job, put it out there. I mean, what could they have possibly done that we ain't gonna see coming? I can't believe today's only Thursday. That's how I feel. This month has been the longest year ever. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. And again, I thank you for hanging out every day. So I'm not going through this alone. Uh, I mean, relatively, right? So in the mornings before work, uh, I was kind of going to do this anyway. So understand as I post that we're live. Before this show existed, I I have a routine, and this space, this like tweener window, because I have shit I got to do when I wake up, and then I got to be at work at noon, right? And that's like a 6 hour fucking gap. So I try to do some stuff, but you get to a point where it's like, okay, I did what I need to do when I woke up. What is going on in the world? Can you imagine? This is one of the things I think about a lot. Can you imagine not having followed along with any of this and just put the blinders on, go to work every day, come home, eat your little fucking, I can't imagine, eat your fucking little hot pocket and go to bed at 8. And not, and just, nope, I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know about what's going on. You would retain the idea that, like, the rich and powerful are never held accountable. Say it. Say it. Say you're right. Like if I hadn't kept up with the news, I would have retained the notion that they're never going to be held accountable. Nothing bad will ever happen to these people. I can't believe you call it justice's waiting room like we haven't been sitting here patiently every day combing through the news and saying what's going on in the world. Oh, look, I smell accountability. Anyway, it's not our whole lives. We're not in law enforcement. We don't. It's not like we get any prizes when these people get arrested. It's horrific for their families. And by the way, I think we should call them the Trump files. Free Palestine, Slava Ukraine. Let's see what's going on in the world. There you go. We are on uh, Blue Sky. Not remotely interested in any other social media. So if you would, if you care to share that we're live here, here's a link to Blue Sky. And the other thing, in the modern era, of war fighting, you know what I can't fucking stand? Telegraphing your fucking moves. What the fuck? What the fuck is Carrier Strike Group when they've been sitting off their coast for weeks? What about that as a fucking strike group? You ever like read a story and you're like, there's no way that's the first news story we talk about? All right. Major European allies declined to join the first meeting of the Board of Peace. So not only has every reasonable country with any semblance of leadership declined to join the Board of Peace, a lot of the people that said they would ain't showing up either. So, I mean, you knew, right? You knew. And by the way, I don't want to do this, but I actually think it's hilarious. I've started to, when I make content, I use a little more analytics to kind of figure out what topic is hot. Like for example, uh, hilariously, Tucker Carlson getting detained in Israel is not even nobody cares. In case you wondered, if you had, by the way, little bit of a ditty this morning. I don't know if Zeke's here to appreciate this. If you wondered what would happen to you if you were the most divisive of people that you have ever met in your entire life, what are two outcomes? I'll tell you. Charlie Kirk, unalived. Tucker Carlson, detained in the airport at Israel. What do you think they're going to do to him? Russia says it's going to deploy its navy as Europe keeps seizing Shadow Fleet ships. Almost assuredly. Well, I mean, we've been talking about it for a while. It's like World War is gonna, everybody's preparing for that. Yeah. Um, Ousted Korean President Yoon gets a life term over his attempt to leading an insurrection, declared martial law. So, in case you were wondering where Trump got his shit, yep. If you ever wondered what being particularly divisive will get you, Exhibit A and B, Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson. And again, uh, how'd you sleep? That's how I feel about them too. And again, I am going to be pretty bullish on not posting Dingleberry the first half of the show if I don't have to. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor arrested on a misconduct allegation. Hey, you know what I'm not fucking doing? If, as someone that's, critical of Israel because I'm an adult, um, you know what I'm also not doing? Passing through or going there. I'm not spending money there. What? Again, what corporations are doing are going to be try to rehabilitate their image, especially if their CEO supported this regime. How are they doing that, Jared? Amazon deforestation on pace to be the lowest on record, and I'm willing to bet it's because large companies are pulling back on deforestation Hey, look, they cut down all the trees. There's none left. I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. Large corporations pulling back on there. Yep, you can see there's all kinds of corporations that are pulling back on their deforestation of the Amazon. Right here. Kiev Independent. Zelensky reports Ukraine will not withdraw from Donbass and we will not lose our dignity as peace talks stall on territory. So, Israel on high alert as officials assess imminent U.S. strike on Iran. Security cabinet meeting postponed. Ynet Global. From what I understand, no decisions have been made. So, War Monitor reporting Gora Media. Ukrainian forces are advancing in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Uh, Words. Just don't touch them, Squint. Ugh. You might get it on you. This shit feels so stupid. Read this story. Here's CBS News saying Trump's like discussing possible timelines for the strike and says it like might be this weekend, but he doesn't know. Like it's just so dumb. Just so dumb. War is so dumb. So check this out. I knew there was no fucking way that Donald Trump was ever going to get his hands on anywhere near $12 trillion. Instead, it's only 340 billion. So keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. Donald Trump has grifted his way into about 1% of what Russia is offering him. Do you understand? He's grifted as much as he can to the tune of about 4. If you ever wondered why he favors Ukraine, or Russia, sorry, $340 billion. So you can scratch the 12 trillion. He ain't good. He ain't getting that. Canada is going to add 3 new permanent residency streams to Express Entry immigration program. What? Top talent to the country. So Canada wants us. Oh my God. BBC reporting overwhelming plastic from the 60s. Canada watching up on Orkney Beach. 300,000 pieces. Hey, by the way, all these people that are in charge now were the people that had to be corrected in public for like littering and shit. Littering and smoking the reefer. Conservative MP Matt Genero joins the Liberal caucus. God, I'm so glad I'm not a liberal. What a dumb word. Same with conservative, really. Reuters reporting. The U.S. plans to an online portal to bypass content bans in Europe. Cool, cool, cool. The U.S. State Department developing an online portal that will enable people in Europe and elsewhere to see content banned by their governments, including alleged hate speech and terrorist propaganda. Jesus Christ. A move Washington views as a way to counter censorship. Dude, what? Site will be hosted at freedom.gov. Somebody buy that shit? Man? Ukrainian intelligence says Russia has removed key economic data from public access. How many times we gonna let Donnie doctor the jobs report before we start to believe that the economy is in shambles? Russia orders Google to pay 1.2 quintillion, a fine 1 million times bigger than the world economy. There you go. Yeah, I wonder why YouTube went to shit. Estonia refuses to broadcast the Paralympics with Russian athletes under the national flag amid war and calls the IPC. So, those, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. You don't want to normalize aggressor states. So people are absolutely allowed to be upset that they had to like compete or watch Russians. Hmm? Your country's committing an illegal war and you're not speaking out about it. Reuters reporting the peace talks ended with the Ukraine's dissatisfied and the U.S. is lying and saying that we made meaningful progress. The fuck ever. Domestic violence is legal in the Taliban-led Afghanistan as long as there are no broken bones or open wounds. I'm gonna bite my tongue because if I say anything, my wife will beat my ass. I'm just kidding. Um, in New Zealand, millions of liters of raw sewage pouring into the ocean. A tide of anger is rising in New Zealand's capital, Wellington, as the city's toilets continue to flush directly into the ocean, more than 2 weeks after the catastrophic collapse of its wastewater treatment plant. And keep in mind, it's all that shit is just on their beaches. Never going to fucking New Zealand. And by the way, all these people that are like, oh, I'm going to leave the US and go somewhere else, why on God's green earth would you go to an island? You're just going to drown. Dumbasses. 70 meters. Do you know how big that is? Russian MiG 28s and Su 35s won't revitalize Iran's dilapidated military. So keep in mind, here's a Forbes article. Here's a Forbes article about Iran and their dilapidated military. Absolutely no reason for conflict here. So keep in mind what's going on in Iran, right? Great wealth inequality, can't drink the water, can't breathe the air. And Ayatollah Khomeini's like, we need nukes! And again, there is this thought among world leaders that if you have nukes, the US won't invade you. A British couple detained in Iran have been sentenced to 10-year prison sentences. I wonder what the fuck they did. It's hard to remember. Espionage. January 2025. Why are you in Iran? January 2025. Hmm. Yeah, mountains isn't bad. Here's an Iran security official appearing to fire on the crowd at a cemetery. Oh shit. Friedrich Merz calls for real names on the internet. An end to widespread anonymity, saying users should post under their real names. Yeah, they do, so they can sue you. The problem is that most of the active accounts on social media are bots because most people don't have time to sit around on social media all day. Reminder, Viktor Orban is probably in the Trump files too. Hungary will suspend diesel shipments to Ukraine over interruption to Russian oil supply. Remember, yeah, think about 70 meters of sea level rise. There's probably like a world map where you could see what will the world look like at 70 meters of sea level rise. It's mostly water. The U.S. to withdraw troops from Syria as tensions mount with Iran. The sea level will continue to rise as climate change drives the global average temperature up. And yeah, I mean, we just had the one of the worst avalanches in history just happened. Here you go. Avalanches. 88 ski deaths in a train crash. Why Europe's mountains are proving so dangerous this winter. Everybody's dying, dying. You know what's fucking insane? When I was like 15 years old, um, like freshman in high school, I wrote a poem called "Everyone's Going Away." It was mostly because like in just a couple years, I went from like a small elementary school maybe like 100 kids in my class where everybody knows everybody. And then I went to middle school where it was 4 or 5 elementary schools all combined into one. So like 1,500 kids in the elementary school between 7th and 8th grade. To high school where there's 1,600 kids across 4 grades. My graduating class or my freshman class, one of the largest, over 600 kids. It gets really bad. This story gets bad. Over 600 kids. We had a huge freshman class. Now, I'm not saying that this is how many people graduated, period. I'm saying this is how many people started and finished 264. There's a bomb threat in Le Monde reporting. France's hard left LFI party evacuates headquarters over a bomb threat. You know what the problem is with a lot of political parties? They have really weird. You seem like hard left is such like a do what? You mean soft left, right? Hard right. That makes sense. Far left? Anyway, smoke and explosions near Tehran spark alarm in the UN. Despite nuclear tensions, reeds catching fire along an adjacent riverbank, ruling out building explosion. Firefighters on the scene tackling the flames. It was just a significant fire, so I'm not surprised this wound up full-blown news. Jesus. CTV News reporting a fireworks shop explosion in China kills 12 people, second blast in such days. I'm awful glad I don't work in fireworks and explosives. I have all of my fingers. Influencer gifts are now officially taxable income. Turkey has officially expanded its tax base in the digital economy. 15% withholding tax, not on cash earnings, but also on products and services received free of charge. It's like a big deal. Fortunately, it's not what I'm here for. LiveScience.com reporting absolute surprise Homo erectus skulls found in China are almost 1.8 million years old. The oldest relevance of the ancient human relatives in East Asia. 600,000 years older than we originally thought. Those are our relatives. It's cool as fuck. Major scientific breakthroughs still happening. All right. So we're dipping our toes in the Toronto police corruption scandal. No, we're not. The Star.com will only let us read it if we pay them, and I fucking hate that shit. Google has found a willing partner in India to sell AI. India, China. Understand the fucking rub here. You know what's insane? Yeah, that's our cousins. You know what's insane? All the big companies in the world are not using AI. Nvidia, the big one in the US, they pulled out of their AI partnership. The other six large companies, because they're called the Big Seven, they were all over leveraged on what NVIDIA was doing. They're going to back out of that too. Those companies, Facebook or Meta, they have gotten rid of their AI staff. I'm so glad that I didn't just put my head down and go back to school or stay in school and finish that degree. I would be having a real hard time getting a job. I mean, look at what's going on, right? But Google found a willing partner in India for AI. And so they're going to build a subsea cable connecting India and the US. The Guardian reporting the Oscar nominated co writer of It Was Just an Accident released from Iranian prison. Mehdi Mahmoodian released 17 days after arrest for signing a statement condemning Iran's supreme leader and its regime's protest crackdown. So obviously, anytime like a journalist is not killed, that's a good thing. Do what? China widens its anti corruption net to catch quasi naked officials. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Let's read, shall we? Ah, Hainan official played key role building South China Sea reefs faces a corruption probe. Serious violations of discipline and law. The fuck? Hey, even I read words in English. The Buenos Aires Times reporting opposition challenges English training contract linked to Sturzenegger's wife. Government insists integrity controls are activated and denies any irregularity. Complaint alleges failure to publish conflict of interest declaration. Just corruption everywhere, man. It's why we need great leadership at the top. Le Monde. 11 people have been arrested in a probe over a far right activist's death, with the far left group under scrutiny. Several suspects flagged as national security threats to their ties with an anti fascist group, Jeune Garde. Two of them worked for MP Raphael Arnault, the founder of Jeune Garde and a member of the hard left party La France Insoumise. I want to take the time to point out that I do not believe violence is the answer. Violence causes attrition. Attrition takes people out of the fight. So if we're beating somebody to death, for example, and they're arresting us, you may have taken out one of theirs, but they arrested 11 of our people. And so do you see how violence it 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 helps the bad guy. when we're talking about how you handle this. You do it with your time and your money and your attention. One of the things that we talk about here is stay off of Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter. Stay off of Amazon. Stop buying shit on fucking TikTok, right? Taylor. So I'm just giving my wife shit. You got to. And understand that by stopping using the bad people's products, if a whole bunch of people do this, those people tend to not do real well. So we want to make sure that we say, like, I condemn all violence. There should be no violence, not coming from me or the political party that I'm starting, right? Australia, the Philippines, and the U.S. conduct a multilateral maritime cooperative activity. They rowed their boat. They rowed their boats together. The BBC is reporting Sudan atrocities are hallmarks of genocide per the UN. Al Fashur, we've been for sure. Anyway, at this point, I would say the next generation of leaders to come up and take the helm. I would say the boomers fucked it up enough. Hmm. Oh, well, let me know if you do. Hungary and Slovakia cut diesel to Ukraine over Russian oil, but they've already got Hungary and Slovakia demand Ukraine fix a pipeline that Russia bombed or no diesel. Robert Fico, Viktor Orban. Mm-mm-mm. U.S. reportedly presses allies to block Ukraine from full participation in a NATO summit, per the Kiev Independent. So Donnie didn't get what he wanted. Reuters reporting AI adoption is already hitting Irish graduate jobs. So think about this. American companies have already invested and then divested from AI before it took their companies out, and they're instead all the rest of the world's behind us, and they're all adopting and going to find out that AI is just going to destroy your company. So, about halfway through this show, about this time, um, one of the things I try not to do is make this show about Donald J. Trump because that's what he wants. And also, if we made the show about him and that's all we talked about, we would just be another mouthpiece for Donald Trump. So we talk about world news first, and for 45 straight minutes. And then about halfway through, we're gonna listen partly to YG and Nipsey Hussle's "Fuck Donald Trump," and then we'll say his goddamn name. Hey, Bill Gates. Bill Gates pulled out of an AI summit and isn't gonna speak. This comes after Bill Gates is in the Epstein files. Has called the claims in the files absolutely as absurd and completely false. Said he regretted spending time with Epstein. This means that he admitted he spent time with Epstein. Oh, look at that. Never meet your heroes. Yeah, he's pretty ugly. Yeah. Yeah, I think you get what you get, right? Texas Senate candidate James Tallarico is flying high thanks to Colbert's war with CBS over his banned interview. Billionaire Les Wexner says he was duped by advisor Jeffrey Epstein, a world class con man. The billionaire behind the retail empire that once blanketed shopping malls with such names as Victoria's Secret and Abercrombie and Fitch told members of Congress on Wednesday he was duped. I'm just a dummy. It's got bad taste in friends, apparently. That's so weird. Here, here's the Guardian with another story about Bill Gates. Okay, so Tucker Carlson got arrested by Israel. Prince Andrew got arrested. Bill Gates pulled out of a speech. And to be completely honest with you, I don't know what the fuck Shia LaBeouf is doing. Let's just throw this out there. Why would you go to New Orleans, get drunk, call gay men homophobic slurs, get arrested, all that shit? Look like shit, huh? How about the U.S. is withdrawing all forces from Syria? Some troops are leaving Syria as part of a deliberate and conditions based transition, withdrawing 1,000 troops. U.S. presence at scale no longer required in Syria, given the government's willingness to take primary responsibility for combating the terrorist threat within its borders. Last week, the U.S. military completed a withdrawal from a strategic base in Syria, handing it over to Syrian forces. Remember, Donald Trump did this. NPR reporting that Trump would like the government he leads to pay him billions. Profiting off your time in office. Oh, it seemed like another big deal. The FDA has reversed course and will review Moderna's Myrna flu vaccine. What if they could eradicate the flu? Kansas Republicans force transgender bathroom restrictions into law, overriding a veto. So focused on the smallest population group. It's almost like they're trans obsessed. Don't worry, they won't hurt you. They're obsessed with you. Republicans voted to override the governor's veto and put the restrictions in state law. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Documents show Jeffrey Epstein built a web of powerful ties across the Middle East. It does feel like one giant sting. He was arrested in Israel. I'm assuming it's because he was critical of Israel. As prices rise, Dollar Tree opens more stores in affluent zip codes. If you wondered, how are even the wealthy among us doing? Right? The wealthy people in your communities, um, they're going to put a Dollar Tree in Geist, where we live. The real wealthy part of town's called Geist. It's where the real money is. It's where the athletes live and shit. It's a lake. Uh, I bet there's already like a Dollar Tree between us and Geist. I think it might be on the south tip of Geist, but yeah. Turmoil at U.S. Constitution Museum as its leader exits ahead of the 250th anniversary. Leadership disputes the claim of political motive for ousting Jeffrey Rosen, who was praised for his nonpartisan approach. Here you go. Costco being sued over alleged salmonella risk in rotisserie chicken. U.S. lawmakers demand accountability for a Palestinian American teen detained in Israel. Mohammed Ibrahim, 9 months in Israeli detention. They're like starving him and shit. People are gonna be like, we gotta rescue Tucker Carlson. How about we gotta rescue 8 backcountry skiers and killed and one missing after deadliest avalanche in California's recorded history. Somebody said avalanche? You rang. 8 backcountry skiers and killed and one missing after deadliest avalanche in California's recorded history. Somebody said avalanche? You rang. 8 backcountry skiers and killed and one missing after deadliest avalanche in California's recorded history. Somebody said avalanche? You rang. ABC News reporting an unruly passenger was detained after an incident on a Delta flight. I would I was hoping this was going to explain Tucker Carlson, but this was in Houston. So, oh, buddy. God, in terms of, I'll speak on Shia LaBeouf, whatever. Highest of highs. The kid had some of the best roles in some of the best movies. Uh, Not Rear Window. Rear Window was from a long time ago, but he has many movies that I consider some good flicks. Think about being just like a 20 in your 20s and being in Transformers, dude. Um, One of the quotes that I hold on, there are a few people that I have taken to in my life that I talk about them as though they're like my dad. George, um, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams. These were people that I really care about. Jim Carrey said, my hope for everyone is that they achieve fame and fortune so that they can realize that that's not it. Shia LaBeouf is that statement from Jim Carrey living it out in real life. Um, all that fame and fortune doesn't mean a goddamn thing. An environmental group is suing Trump's EPA over repeal of landmark climate funding. Seems like they're gonna keep fucking losing. I think we've reported on this before. There's a museum in Britain that's removing the word Palestine from some displays, and it turns out they've employed a Zionist that's in charge somehow. Yeah. Uh, are you ready for the absolute dumbest story? Jared, this doesn't even make sense. Why are we talking about this? They're repainting Air Force One. Here, BBC wrote an article. Here, look, new color scheme on Air Force One. Okay, okay. Remember how last week Donald Trump said a staffer post that racist video about the Obamas? Well, here's Carolyn Levitt saying all truth social posts come straight from Donald Trump. Here's what I'll tell you. Stephen Miller's writing that shit, not Donald Trump. There, I solved it for everybody. Nobody wonders. Nobody needs to wonder now. Insiders reveal fed up Trump dangerously close to unleashing major war. The 79-year-old has been threatening action in the Middle East for several weeks. I'm gonna beat your ass, he said, every day before recess, only to not be allowed to go to recess because his grades sucked. And then I watched a video so you don't have to with RFK and Kid Rock's workout video. Here's the Huffington Post article about that. Enjoy that crazy shit. I need Jasmine Crockett on Colbert pretty quick. Pretty quick. I'm not I don't live in Texas, so I'm not really throwing my hat around Jasmine or Talarico. I'm just glad they're both in the race. Kristi Noem gives entire DHS asbestos poisoning. The demolition of historic buildings at the Department of Homeland Security headquarters has released asbestos into the air. The worst person you know is killing her staff. Here you go. So, again, if you think that it's not gonna hurt them way more than you, okay. Here are the people that work for DHS and ICE getting asbestos poisoning. Apparently, Carolyn Lovett launched an Ash Wednesday blast, something or another. She's religious or something. Man. Tony Gonzalez accused his primary opponent of using the story to smear his aide's memory, but a Republican lawmaker's apparent affair with an aide who later died by suicide. Ho, 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 ho. Here you go. Republicans can hold that too. Trump's sons say their open corruption is our fault. Trying to shift the blame. Oh, hey, ICE fatally shot a U.S. citizen in Texas last year. Here you go. Let's find out what their name is. Ruben Ray Martinez. Shot by an ICE Homeland Security Investigations officer in South Padre Island on March 15th. So, by the way, Ruben Ray Martinez, Alex Preddy, Renee Nicole Good. Bloomberg reporting after 1 year, RFK has left public health devastated. I gotta look at the tracking on that. Yeah, they just confessed to it so openly, yeah. The FBI sued Homan following his alleged bribery. A government watchdog group is suing the FBI to force the release of a tape that reportedly shows border czar Tom Homan allegedly accepting a $50,000 bribe. So understand, they'll kill all of us and it's for nothing. It's for nothing. One of the things that drives me fucking crazy when you find out like, oh, this person was like a linchpin in all this corruption, and you're thinking like, oh, they must have got like millions and millions of dollars, and to find out it's like $250,000, and you're like, what? Like, you're gonna go to prison for the rest of your life? And it was $250,000? That's nothing. That's piss money. That's nothing. And I'm not saying be corrupt. I'm saying there's no. Here's the thing. Uh, uh, uh. Here's the thing. There's absolutely no good reason to be a piece of shit. The reward is not that sweet. I'm telling you. People think uh it's a low bar when someone is like openly corrupt or they like cheat on their spouse and shit like that, and it's like, no. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. It's that people have nothing and are nothing. And the something that you could be is you could be the piece of shit that cheated on your spouse. You could be the piece of shit that sold out your neighbor for a coin. The Latin Times reporting Marjorie Taylor Greene says the Trump administration should focus on putting pedos in jail instead of more foreign wars. And I call that saving motherfucking face. And that's what she's doing. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Tim Walz said he would rather eat glass than be a U.S. Senator. Tim Walz also lied and said that ICE was leaving Minneapolis, and that's not what's happening. Don't eat glass. Common Dreams reporting President Trump is an apocalypse. A literal Mad Hatter is in charge of the most powerful nation on earth. Doesn't look very powerful. Yep. Being nice costs $0. Being a piece of shit will cost you everything. NBC News reporting Governor J.B. Pritzker to propose suspending tax incentives for data centers in Illinois. Senator Warren tells the Fed and Treasury no bailout for crypto billionaires. By the way, do not waste your money getting into cryptocurrency. You are only going to be disappointed. Senator Sanders to rally for billionaire tax in California as the crypto industry joins Newsom in opposition. So understand, a lot of people are like, oh, Gavin Newsom, because he stood toe to toe with Donald Trump. And it's like, no policy. Gavin Newsom loves billionaires and hates homeless people. Clip that. Trump administration sued for tearing down pride flags and leaving Confederate flags up. Trump tariffs are going to cost you $1,300 this year. So you are on average going to pay a little more than $100 a month. Is it going to cost you? Oh, by the way, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. Every time I go to sneeze, in my brain, I'm like, if I don't mute this shit, I'm about to piss off all my friends. I don't like, this is like the least favorite thing I've ever shared. And this is why it came up yesterday. I read this while I was at work. I'm pretty positive. So they're cutting Social Security. So, uh, hey, they're cutting Social Security. Like something like 23 million people are going to have, or 23% people are going to lose a considerable portion of their Social Security benefits. Um, and they're calling Social Security to say, hey, I got a notice that my Social Security benefits are going down. And they're asking like, hey, what are we supposed to do? And they're being told suicide's an option. That's what Donald Trump's Social Security Administration is telling our seniors. You could just kill yourself. So think about that. Don't fucking kill yourself, man. It's not worth it. Grow a garden. Put up solar panels. Survive. Deny your fucking programming. You know, it's human nature after a long period of time to want to like change course. I know my wife and I are going through it. We're about to be homeowners and have been married for 10 years in the same house, loving the same person. And sometimes we tussle. And this we keep coming back to the same fucking thing. It's you and me. That's it. Versus the world. That's it. So we can stop fighting at any time. It's completely human nature to want to squirm and dig out of the hole you're in and go be by yourself and take your little mound of dirt with you. But the outside is not kind. And so not only is it not survivable, it's unwise. Don't fucking kill yourself. Join a run club. I uh I take those dogs for a walk, and if they run, I run with them every day. I probably look crazy running back and forth in front of my house on this. I'm on the sidewalk, okay? Know that we're going to have an insulin shortage in a few years. And the price of insulin is going to make it a rich versus poor thing. And there are going to be people that are going to try to hoard insulin. And I don't even know how the shit works because I'm not diabetic. Here's an article from NPR about ICE trying to criminalize observing them. Look at this shit. This is what I hate. I was just trying to get under her skin. You fucking creep. What the fuck? Trump allies disturbing insult to female leader. Listen at this. Senator Lindsey Graham reportedly tried but failed to get a rise out of the Danish prime minister. Look at that ugly motherfucker, bro. You ever just want to run and kick someone in the face as hard as you can? Lindsey Graham. Yeah, accused of making a sexist insult. Part of being a socialist, I think, is being cognizant of what it means. What being a socialist effectively means is that you are going to point out bigotry and say that shit's not okay. Do something the fuck else other than be racist, other than be sexist or homophobe or transphobe. Like, try not to fucking do that shit. I'm gonna call you out for it. Because, like, this motherfucker's making sexist arguments. ICE detained a 2 month old baby and it's gonna fucking die. Now I can't. Trying to. It's like they don't want me to share it. There are a handful of people that I would love to run at them as fast as I can and throw a shoulder into them. Just kind of see what happens. You think they turn to dust? Anyway, the right's obsession with American heritage is all about who gets to be seen as white. What Elon Musk was really getting at when he incorrectly claimed American culture is English, Scots, Irish origin. Here they are dragging the Englishmen into this shit. Here's another story about Les Wexner. Tells lawmakers that he was conned by Jeffrey Epstein and did nothing wrong. Man, bullshit. He was corrupt. Abercrombie and Fitch was. Let me tell my little story. I have cousins that are professional supermodels. For example, my male cousin has been on the front of the same underwear packaging as your boy Bad Bunny, and he did it for a long goddamn time. He was the fucking underwear model. You know where they just showed the junk. Yeah, and then he also did like runway, and they traveled and were like professional agencies. It was catalog and magazine. They did it all. And then my female cousin Ashley, also professional model for her whole fucking life. Um, but Abercrombie and Fitch, from what I understand, did not did not um, it's like they weren't ethical with the way they treated models. Abercrombie. Um, that's what I remember from being a kid. Was something regarding the contracts that Abercrombie models got versus everybody else. And it's people like Les Wexner who would say like your connection to Abercrombie uh, will help your career the rest of your life. And I was one of those kids walking around the mall when I was in my teens trying to find a place to work and did not fit in at Abercrombie. I was too tall. In response to ICE shootings, U2's Bono will drop an EP. 6 songs. Do what you can with what you have where you are. At least 12 Democrats are going to boycott Trump's State of the Union address. When is this? Tuesday. Oh. Progressive groups Move On and Midas Touch announced Wednesday they're hosting the People's State of the Union at 8:30 near the Capitol. Ah. Counter programming. Might have to watch that. So keep your 8:30 p.m. Midas Touch People's State of the Union. MS Now, Rachel Maddow's blog, showing new Coast Guard allegations add to Kristi Noem's growing list of troubles. Democracy Now! Reporting. When ICE agents lie, the DOJ dropped charges against two Minneapolis men falsely accused of attempted murder. Two ICE officers have been placed on administrative leave and are accused of lying under oath about an incident in Minneapolis last month involving two Venezuelan immigrants, one of whom was shot in the leg by an agent. After the incident, the two Venezuelan men, Alfredo Alejandro Aliorna and Julio Cesar Sosa Silas, come on, man, were charged with felony assault, falsely accused of beating an ICE officer with a broom and snow shovel. It was not only a dismissal, but a dismissal with prejudice, meaning that my client can never be charged again for anything to do with this incident. It's almost like if we document things and we aren't inciting violence and something happens. The Cut reporting the gynecologists who helped Jeffrey Epstein. Here are their names. Three New York City gynecologists, as well as a dermatologist and his own physician. I think they're saying like the names are in the tranche of files to be released. Sorry. I scanned the article with my eyeballs and I did not see people's names. You'll have to forgive me. U.S. House Democrats say they don't believe Les Wexner's denials about ties to Jeffrey Epstein. I don't believe it either. The Hill reporting the GOP is experiencing a moral reckoning. It's correct and moral to use the Olympics to speak out. I agree. The Intercept reporting. What a great time. I love the Olympics. I always have. I've always loved sports and competition, and have especially appreciated the Olympics. I don't get to watch as much as I want because I try to actually focus when I'm at work and not dick around, so it's probably to my detriment. UN experts say the Epstein files amount to crimes against humanity. And I think between the arrests happening, ACS law says DHS reforms must make federal officers liable for constitutional rights violations. And also, why do ICE have guns on them? Why are they wearing masks? Palantir, which is powering ICE, says immigration crackdowns is hurting their hiring. Nobody wants to fucking work there. No shit, bro. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they're going out of business, dog. In its most recent filing with the Securities and Exchange Commissions, Palantir says the increased regulation of immigration may impact the company's ability to hire the talent it needs. Working on a tool called Elite. Further, if we are not able to recruit, hire, or retain the talent we need because of increased regulation of immigration or work visas, including limitations placed on the number of visas granted, changes to application processes or fees, limitations on the type of work performed or location in which work can be performed, and new or higher minimum salary requirements could be more difficult to staff. Our personal on customer engagements could increase our costs. Oops. Good. Colorado Sun reporting Democrats would be favored to flip 3 Colorado congressional seats under new redistricting proposal. Advocate.com reporting a man says ICE is keeping his husband jailed even though they've agreed to leave the U.S. We applied for asylum, we got married, every legal step that needs to be done, we've done that. Now ICE is lying. A married couple from Azerbaijan says the Trump administration is keeping one husband locked in an immigration detention center in Georgia, even though both men, one of whom is a legal permanent resident, agreed to leave the United States. Brendan Carr, this gutless motherfucker. And we're 90 minutes in, so hey, remember, control what you can control. If you didn't vote for this, this isn't yours to carry. I can't imagine going through my day to day having voted for this. Uh, is YouTube working? Let's see. I'm unsure why the music's not playing. Huh. Interesting thing going on. Here you go. It'll be Eat the Rich. Let's see if we can get over to y'all bot. Huh. Hey, it looks like Indiana's on the map today. Oh yeah. 4 feet of snow, 55-mile-an-hour gusts for California peaks. Winter storm warning in California. Enhanced tornado risk in the Ohio Valley. Here you go. Safe out there. Let's check the weather out real quick. Get out your hair. All right. Wait until it gets back nationwide. Show you the tornadoes in the Ohio Valley. Winter storm warning in California. 15,000 customers without power. Storm damage mounting in California. Damn. So imagine in California, fire. Utah and Idaho have high avalanche danger. It's like, oh wow, 2012, but look at that bad boy. Okay, the weather is going to get more intense as the day goes on. Okay, I know it looks like somebody just threw paint on a map, but moisture along the west coast, it's more important to talk about the whole ass states that won't have any bullshit going on, right? Like Florida, and that's really it. Florida, and it looks like Louisiana and Mississippi are about the only states in the United States that aren't going to have some form of weather in your state today. So keep your head on a swivel. With weather like this, there's no reason not to. It's all over. Really, there are like 3 states in the entire country that do not show moisture: Florida, Louisiana, and Mississippi. So every other state in the country, you ought to be keeping your eyes on the weather today. I appreciate you all. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.